This is Earth, a peaceful place where humans are all living together. But have we ever considered about how one day the Earth will have a nuclear explosion, either from a tsunami or our own hands? The Earth will explode, and it will be on fire. Where do we live now if the Earth has been destroyed? Well, have we thought about the moon? Even if we were able to leave Earth, how are we going to survive? Where do we get oxygen, food, water, place to live, and so on? That's why I'm here to propose a solution for you guys. We are going to discuss about how to regulate oxygen in our bodies when living on the moon. How about we only wear a gas mask? With that, I have come up with a solution. Let me introduce you guys to the oxygen patches. The patch will work similarly as a heat pad and is placed where the lungs are located. The purposes of the patch are to keep your body temperature at exactly 37 degrees Celsius. And the heat from the patch will generate ions into your lungs to break down carbon dioxide. As I mentioned before, that the patch is like a heat pad, but slightly different. The patch will not warm our bodies up, but its job is to keep the body's temperature at exactly 37 degrees Celsius. This is the cool thing about the patch. The heat from the patch also transfers energy in the form of ions to our lungs, and those ions will help break down the carbon dioxide that we breathe in. Those ions will also block or close the skin surface from exposing to the moon's atmosphere. With oxygen travels throughout the body, heart will also be able to regulate normally due to the amount of oxygen it will receive. The only downside of these oxygen patches is that they don't protect the body from extreme pressure of the moon. The moon has low gravity, and places with low gravity will likely have high pressure. When the body is experiencing high pressure, it will be very difficult to produce sweat. And when our bodies slowly lose the abilities to produce sweat, we're gonna run into some health problems. This determines that one can only expose to the atmosphere of the moon for a certain amount of time to avoid the high pressure the body will experience. Here's another idea for the oxygen patches. What if we came up with the electric patches that will be placed on our temples? These patches will send electron signals to the brain that will then send the signal to the lungs to break down the oxygen. Same method as the heat patches, except for the temperature regulation process. This kind of patches could work very well if the person and the patches are compatible. Since the patches are indirectly connected to the brain, anything could happen. The patches could act up and then send wrong signals to the brain, and it could damage our brains. And that's why the first oxygen patches would be our safer options. To conclude this video, I am going to evaluate my own design. Let's start with how important these criteria are. These will be ranked on a scale of 5. Heart, temperature, and pressure regulations are somewhat important. Oxygen's accessibility is the most important. Manufacturing and distributions is not very important since it's very easy to make those patches. For my designs of the oxygen patches, oxygen's accessibility would have 5 points. Heart regulation would have 4 because the patches does actually indirectly regulate the heart.